Happy Wednesday morning to you, Crosspoint. It's good to be with you. I am actually out here in the foyer. I'm going to do a quick pan here, and you can see kind of all of the work that the guys are doing. That's Mike, who's working right there. He's working super hard. And then over here is Josh. And I've actually, I met Josh just yesterday. Josh, can we take a look at your tat here?
Oh, sure.
This is Joshua 1:9. And I know I memorized that as a kid. I know a lot of you guys have memorized it, but Josh is going to give us a little bit of talk to us about your company, and then
Sure.
give us a little bit of a lineup kind of on the schedule of the floor here. If you
Yeah,
can.
no problem. So I'm Josh. I'm with Surface Innovations Concrete and Resurfacing. We're here at your guys' church redoing your floor. When we first got here, it was filled with glue and resins from the carpet. So we ground that down, got all that out, got the concrete prepped. Right now, what we're doing is we're filling all these cracks, all the control joints in here, so that when we lay the resin floor, you won't see that. That silica sand in there, we're gonna put some epoxy in there, and it'll set up. And it'll set up quite higher than the actual concrete, and we'll grind that down. And then after that, we put a primer coat down, let that sit for a day, and we come and then we put down your guys' metallic floor.
Nice.
And then we give it a clear coat with a gloss, and we're putting a non-slip additive in it.
Okay, all
So
right.
when you guys come in and out of the door, there's no slipping and falling.
Yeah, actually, that's something some of our folks, I know some of you have wondered about, slipping and falling and so forth. So that's really good. So, Josh, I was talking with you yesterday. So you were telling me by Sunday the floor will be done, but we don't want to use it heavily because
You definitely want to give it that curing process. So
Yeah,
from
okay.
day one
All right.
of being completed to
Yeah.
day 5, it goes through a curing process, and what it's doing
Sure.
is it's getting its integrity, the structural
Yeah,
integrity of
okay.
it, and it's hardening. So
Okay.
you want to stay light traffic for at least the first week, and then after that, it's free roam.
Now we'll have a little runner or something.
Yeah, so
we'll
when I'm done with
yeah.
that, I'm gonna put down something what you call ram board from the main entrance to the main doors.
Okay.
Just
Good.
we ask that everybody
Yeah.
tries to stay on that
Sure.
for the first time being back. on
Yeah,
the
and you
floor.
know what? We can do that for one day in order to get our floor nice and healthy and set up for long-term
Definitely,
success. So, hey, thank you very much, Josh and Mike, for what you guys are doing. I look forward to the finished product here.
Awesome.
So, all right,
All right,
thanks,
thank
man.
you.
All right. So you just met the worker guys, and they are doing an awesome job. We're going to go in here now, and I want to share just a little something with you that I've been looking at for several weeks. An article. I'm going to put on my reading glasses if you don't mind. I do have those now in my 40s here. So, anyway, so this article is addressing a question. This is the question that they're addressing. Well, let me just first, the article is written by some people with Ed Stetzer, who's kind of a church health, revitalization, church planter guy. The article is entitled Church Decline and Recovery During COVID-19. So the question that they are addressing is the question that's being asked by all kinds of pastors, and it is this. Maybe a question you've been asking. Are people going to return to church after COVID? All right. So we're beginning to see that answer to a degree, but what I want to do is walk through this article real quick and give you a couple of the high points, okay? So what they did is they interacted with over 600 churches and 400,000 weekly worshipers covering 47 states. And they were asking questions and taking inventory of kind of what's been happening during COVID and even coming out of COVID. So what they found is at the peak of COVID, and they put the peak of COVID at January 2021, in-person attendance had fallen by 60%. So out of 10 people that were attending pre-COVID, 6 of those were not meeting in person. Now, it doesn't mean they weren't meeting online. It just means in person. So that was the peak of COVID, January 2021. But what they did see is they saw churches pivoting really well and developing an online presence, which that's our story. We had to up our game rather quickly. But as of, let's see, So 3 months later, as of like April of 2021, so in January 2021, it was basically 40% were attending in person. 3 months later, that number had risen to 57% and is continuing to climb. So more recently, that would have been a March number, but by April, so it was March where it was 57%, but by April of 2021, 91% were. It's a 91% of what it was pre-COVID. So things are on the uptick as far as attendance goes. So we're still kind of seeing where things are falling, and they have discovered that giving has not suffered at all. I found that to be a case of, as I've talked with other church leaders and pastors, that giving has remained constant, whereas in-person attendance has not. But now again, we're seeing the in-person attendance kind of come back. We still don't know where it's going to land. So I'll just I scribbled down some thoughts because for me, in-person attendance is a metric that I'm like, it's okay. Well, I should say, attendance has never been a metric that I've been super pumped on because. Church attendance doesn't necessarily mean anything. You can get a bunch of people in. My concern is, what are you doing with them? How are you developing? How are you discipling the people that you have? So, a couple of points here as I'm sorting through this, and then I've got some questions for you. But let's start with the question. Here's a question for you. Has your behavior in reference to church attendance, has it changed in person? Has it changed during COVID? And I would hope for many of you that it actually did, because you want to stay safe. Now that you've been vaccinated, now maybe you haven't, now that we're kind of coming out of that, has your behavior changed permanently? Okay. If it has, follow-up question, has it changed due to a conviction, or has it changed due to circumstances? Circumstances being, it's not easy for me to get out, I can't, I moved, or this is a fair question this is the kind of question I ask myself a lot. Is my behavior changing due to drift? So is it changing according to convictions, circumstances, or drift? And I would put drift in the category of, I just find myself doing this, and it's not really, I haven't really thought about it. It's just kind of happening. So I see it this way, that behavior is based on a conviction, which is based on a belief, which is based on choice. We always choose what we believe. And so generally there has been I think a downtick in in-person attendance. And I mentioned this just a little bit on Sunday, and I think that that's something I was expecting. That's not surprising to me. And as the North American faith expression continues to culture-wide kind of go down, it's not surprising that this would be yet another incident or scenario in which that is just increased. Now, like I mentioned Sunday, it doesn't have to be the case. It doesn't have to be the case for you, for me. And again, so I asked you the question, but here are three things that I wrote down as I read this article. Church attendance is not a good luck charm. It's not. It's just church attendance. So it's not as if that's some kind of a, just because you're in the door on a Sunday morning doesn't mean somehow you're going to be doing well the following week. Number 2, attending church does not necessarily convey grace. Okay? So number 1, church attendance is not a good luck charm. Number 2, attending church does not necessarily convey grace. So the goal that God has for your life, like the primary goal, is not for you to be in person attending a church on Sunday morning. That said, here's number 3. Worshiping God with the community of faith is good and healthy. So that's true too. And I would put the in-person part there. I didn't write that down. But that's something to aspire to. That's a good thing. Now, you can be in church with believers and be completely absent in spirit. You can be in church on a Sunday morning and be attending and be in full-blown hypocrisy. That is absolutely the case. But it's also absolutely the case that you can be in person worshiping with people and community and be connecting with God and gaining immensely, way more than staring at a screen. Now, it's not my job. I got my hands full handling myself. It's not my job to tell somebody else what Jesus wants for them. But I also want to caution us, have you drifted in your behavior during this? Because now that the doors are opening, some of the things that were keeping us back are not keeping us back anymore. Shouldn't be anymore, anyway. And I think we would do well to do some self-analysis. Like, am I where I want to be? And am I practicing and am I existing where I am due to conviction and sincerely held belief? Or am I just, going along with the situation? Jesus is looking for faith expressions. And like he said, when I come back, am I going to find faith on the earth? Hey, for me and my house, absolutely yes. And I want to speak for Crosspoint too. And yeah, there's faith here. And there's a vibrant expression of faith here. And so let me encourage you to give due thought to that. Okay? I'm going to bless you now. Lord, bless you and keep you. Lord, make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. Love you, Crosspoint. We'll see you soon. Bye.